right, so next up at GroupBy is Maria is going to talk about how to monitor everything. So take it away, Maria.
So hello everyone and welcome to my session, How to Monitor Everything. My name is Maria Zakourdaev and I'm from Israel. And me and my team are managing all data infrastructure in one awesome company called Perion, which provides data-driven ad tech solutions for brands and publishers. I'm a SQL Saturday organizer in Israel, and I frequently talk here in Israel on various data events. And I also blog at sqlblog.com. If you have any questions for me after this talk, you can reach me on Twitter as Maria SQL, or you can contact me on LinkedIn. What I have today on my table is in this age of cloud and big data, when infrastructures are very complex and application response times are more and more critical, a lot of application performance depends on data layer performance. And I believe that walkable monitoring strategy is a very important factor that impacts profitability, customer loyalty, and business service health. So if your team, today's session was inspired by 3 different aspects, and this is what I have on my table. In addition to some medicine from my flu, so I'm sorry for my voice. Of course, I had to get it 2 days before the session, but what I'm going to talk today is the first aspect is how the way microservices trend and polyglot persistence have impacted my team and have triggered a lot of various data tools under our responsibility. We have a SQL Server, of course, and we have MySQL and Postgres and Elasticsearch and Couchbase and Redshift. And the question whether we could use SQL Server for the same purposes is out of the question for this talk. But I can only say that part of them we've inherited, and some we tried and we liked them. Some of them were cheap solutions. So as a proper SQL Server DBA, I only knew the monitoring tools that can monitor a SQL Server. And I went and I searched for some tools that will give me the view, the dashboard over all systems that we are supporting, at least for high level. But if you don't have all those technologies in your responsibility, please don't leave this session, because I have a lot of more going up, because I'm going to talk also about my top list of monitoring strategies, which is can be applied to any data monitoring, and I will show you some demos of the tools that I'm using. And the another aspect of my talk is SaaS tools. When I went and I searched for monitoring tools, I have realized that there's a huge amount of software as a service monitoring tools that I really like them. And I'm going to talk why I like them. And another aspect is that when I started to learn all those tools, I have came into understanding that there is a microservices trend also have impacted the monitoring area. And instead of having one monolith database monitoring tool, we suddenly have different categories. And I'm going to talk about those categories in a minute. So just a second. So if you and your teams are responsible for company infrastructure, you need to make sure that I believe that everything is under control and any multifunction will be taken care as fast as possible and as efficient as possible. And do you know how fast is fast for web application? Under 100 milliseconds is perceived as instantaneous. From 100 millisecond to 300 millisecond, delay is perceptible. User expects site to load in only 2 seconds, and 40% of visitors will abandon your company site after 3 seconds. And 10 seconds is about limit for keeping user attention. So this is why I think that's why our data layers have so play important part in your web applications and mobile application, any type of application. This is why I think this topic is very important. Polyglot persistence is a term that is talking about storing your data in a different data stores based on the way how data is going to be used. So today we have tons of databases. We have relational databases and key value databases and document databases, graph databases, and each one of them knows how to deal with only one data model well, and the other data models can also be modeled as well. but not regularly you will get the best possible performance. As a pros of this trend, you get fast response times and of course perfect scale out if you're using, another technology for different data models. But on the other hand, you need to learn and figure out how to use all those databases. Like this is what we had to go through. And microservices is another technological trend of the recent years that correlates to polyglot persistence. Many companies begin with one huge database or one huge code base. And when I have joined Perion, we had one database and we had that everything was there. Every component that any business unit in the company was developing, everything was in the same database. And then it was a very painful process of splitting the stored procedures into different databases and at some point of time to different servers, because application owners didn't want other applications to impact theirs. One database design offers advantages like less operational overhead for small startups with a few people. Disadvantages start when the startup grows and the whole code base or many database components being changed all the time, and a whole thing is required to rebuild or changes. And once the idea of having a database server for every application was a difficult and expensive task, and only big organizations could do that. But today we have services like Azure and Amazon Web Services, and we have many options for deploying tiny databases without too much overhead. So again, if you need to change some stored procedure, and it really looks like our database at least looked like this plate of pasta where everything was mixed together. And when the microservices trend into, and where all components decoupled, and tearing down a monolithic database server into microservices architecture brings a lot of benefits. Changes to components can be applied without being afraid that you might impact other services. And the smaller databases you see on this side, they provide you with the ability to be scaled separately, or you can change technology if needed. And one service performance does not impact the other. But, as someone who is managing all those tools, that monitoring gets increasingly frustrating. For more database types you get under your responsibility. Visibility is critical, and we really wanted to have one dashboard showing all our infrastructure and not jump from one product to another, at least for a high level. Of course, there are tools that know exactly how to monitor each database technology, but for high level, we really wanted one tool. So, and I like SaaS tools. You see, I'm even using Prezi for presentation instead of, it's not PowerPoint, it's SaaS presentation tool, and I think it's really cool. Why SaaS? Because it's very easy to use. When you try database as a service, you understand that that's really easy to use stuff. The monitoring tools as a service, you usually can install agent within one command, and an agent automatically, or with very minimal configuration, detects all the components that you have on your server. And you can see everything, users and applications and any database technology, any operational system, and all in one place. No IT headache, and accessible from any device, and instantly on, automatic upgrades. And many SaaS tools have free plans, and in many cases there is a low investment cost. Of course, if you're a huge organization, if you have thousands of servers, it might get expensive. But those tools has packages for big companies with the discounts, but it's still so easy to use and very comfortable. Also, what we can do sometimes, instead of using agent, we can write a small code, and usually those SaaS tools are very customizable. And you can write a small code, Python or any language that you're used to, and connect and send metrics to the monitoring tools. And then from one, Datadog, for instance, costs $15 a month. And if you have one code that's monitoring all your infrastructure, the main counters, you just have $15 per month, and you can have all your infrastructure monitored in one place. I will talk about it in a second. So here are the monitoring tool types, or as I see it, microservices. There are probably more types, but those are really important for me. I identify them as really important, and we use them here. And as I said, a server level monitoring can cover everything, but there are areas that you just need to leave them to the specific, like graph databases, they know to serve some specific data model. Like here, there are monitoring tools that can do something very specific, and you don't have to mix everything in one place. So first we will talk about server level monitoring tools. This is the main category, of course, and those tools monitoring your servers, any operational level, any database technology, including networks and everything. We're using Datadog for this purpose, and you can see here how many systems it can monitor. You can see SQL Server here, and all services on Azure Cloud somewhere over here, and Elasticsearch and Couchbase and MySQL somewhere over here, and Postgres and Redshift. Everything that you can just want to think about, you can monitor from this tool. In addition, a lot of other applications that you might use, and what Datadog does for each component that you see here, it has its specific counters that he knows that are important to be monitored. In addition, as I said, the Datadog and a lot of other tools from the same category are really customizable. So what we do, for instance, just a second, I will show you, this is the dashboard from the Datadog, and it is customizable. You can put here any counter from any database that you have. It can be number, it can be graph, it could be list like this. And here you don't see, but here in my office, I have a huge monitor, and I have a place for Couchbase and for Elasticsearch and SQL servers, and everything is in one place. And in addition to servers, I can monitor my processes. For instance, I have this Python, which is taking data from SQL Server to Elasticsearch. And what I can do, I can import a few libraries from Datadog. Again, I don't need any agent to install agent for this. Okay, I include libraries, I defined keys, which is sort of user and password, and then I have only one line here, API metric send. And what I'm sending is that the date time and the amount of rows that I have transferred at this exact moment. So you can understand that this job is running every now and then, and every time it's running, it just reports to Datadog amount of data it's sent. What it does sort of visualization about how your job is doing, and if the job suddenly, maybe it continues working but not moving any data for some reason, maybe there's something's wrong, some bug, Datadog is going to notify you no data for this process. I will show it to you here. Brent, do you see my screen?
Yep, absolutely. Yep.
All right, so this is this counter that I send, and I can, visualize it for a few days or for past week. And, you just can understand what's going on, if amounts of data are growing, or, that less and less data is being transferred.
Mhm.
This is amazing way. It's another side, another part of monitoring that you can do, in addition to monitor CPU and memory, of course, and the disk space and everything. What else we do? For instance, we're using Redshift for one of the data marts in our company, and Redshift, Amazon UI is really limited for its ability to show us what's going on and the queries. And what we do is another Python that I'm streaming the tables and the query IDs and the performance of all queries. And Redshift is based on Postgres. So inside Postgres, you can find any query. And here, I can, in this dashboard, I can pick up any table, and I see all the queries that took a lot of time in the visualization, when it happened, and I can just, usually the performance is very good, but I can go to those points of time, find those queries inside Redshift, and make sure I tune them. So what you can do, you can stream in here the such counters from many database technologies, and you will have it in one place. So you can, instead of having one filter, you can have filter here of database, sort of database technology, and you can put the dashboard or anything that you want. Another thing that we monitor in Hadoop, we have a lot of tables that we are updating there and processing, and there is another code that is going and checks when the last time table was updated, and we have dashboard of data delays in Hadoop on the same dashboard. All right.
And all of that is just $15 a month.
Yeah, yes. They don't tell the Datadog. I hope no one is listening. No, every server, we also have agents on our service, and we're paying $15 per each server. But those custom monitors, if you're running them from the same machine, these are different Python processes in our company, but you're paying only because Datadog sees this as only one machine that is, sending the metrics, and you're just sending metrics about different types of databases and different types of activities.
Wow.
All right, so let me continue. Another thing that I wanted to show you, there are many fun projects that people do with Datadog. For instance, in a Datadog headquarters, they have dashboard of restrooms availability. It's just apparently a big building, and they have problem. And then engineering have a keg of beer, and they're getting alert when the beer temperature is warm, and then getting recovery when the beer gets cooled in the kitchen.
Nice.
Yes, and sorry, and then there is another person who took the monitoring everything. He took the home monitoring to completely different level using the smart home devices, and he has a dashboard of the lights on and the electricity that he uses and lights, in every room. That's just an example of, you can monitor a lot of things with the Datadog.
My grandpa would have loved that because he was always telling us to close the doors, turn the lights off. He would have been all over that.
Right. So in addition to server level monitoring, there are more groups of monitoring. For instance, application performance monitoring. That's the set of tools that learn your code. They usually know all industry leading programming languages. They go and learn everything that is happening on your web application or mobile application and correlate the usage of classes and objects, and which objects in database they trigger, and what was the query performance and the wait stats sometimes. This is just a whole, pipeline of performance, which is sometimes very interesting to see. This is one of this screenshot was taken from Redshift, from New Relic, sorry, which is one of the leaders in this category. It supports, .NET and Python and Ruby, and you can know what's happening in the application environment, and it combines metric from a mobile or browser applications. You can even benchmark every deployment against the previous ones, and the code changes, dependencies, configurations, everything. AppDynamics this is a screenshot from AppDynamics, and is another example of application performance SaaS tool. In similar ways, it helps you to monitor every single line of code and every user or every database transaction that comes from the code across all the stack in real time. What happened to Dynatrace? Hit another one? All right, doesn't matter. If you go to SQL Server level applications, the tools that, like Idera and Redgate, and the only one tool that I have found, which is completely SaaS tool, is Israeli startup I'm Better. And they applicate the SQL Server, on the application level of SQL Server, and they provide capabilities to identify bottlenecks in your database environment, and also they provide database support at no additional cost if anyone interested. But they do a very good job, and it's completely SaaS product. Oh, here's a Dynatrace, another giant in the application monitoring world. It is powered by artificial intelligence, and people say it has very great, way to analyze million dependencies, identify problems, and has robust integrations and API. SolarWinds, we all know, leading provider of powerful IT management software, and this is a screenshot of the database performance analyzer. It supports Oracle and SQL Server, MySQL, but unfortunately, it's in-house product. It can monitor in-house virtual machines, everything. Sorry. But a few weeks ago, they have acquired Pingdom and launched it as a SolarWinds Pingdom server monitor. And this is completely SaaS offering.
I didn't know that.
So everyone who likes SolarWinds, just go and check it. Pingdom can perform different deep server monitoring, but you see, this is an amount of databases that it can monitor, and SQL Server is not one of them. But I hope it's getting there. Oh, I'm sorry. So another tool that I really like is the Data Diagnostic Manager. I have used it for several years. It's an awesome in-house product. And it appears that they also have Uptime Cloud Monitoring SaaS tool, which can monitor server level and also collects data on databases like SQL Server, MongoDB, MySQL, Postgres, React, Redis, and more. Redgate has a great set of tools, but I haven't found any SaaS offering, and each product is solely for specific database. SQL Server, MySQL, and so on. Are there any questions?
No, you're doing good. Everybody was really glowing about the cupcakes. Everybody really wanted, making everybody hungry, especially this time of the morning. Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So it's just a Murphy's Law that I have got this flu. This is just...
Well, I'm going on webcam now, and I'm only going to talk because you're coughing, but I have this freaking thing on my nose. I use these strips to help me sleep better at night, and I go to peel one off, and it takes a layer of skin off, 2-3 days ago. I'm like, oh, come on now. Right before I go on camera, it looks like my wife has been abusing me, beating me up with a knife or something. But no.
All right, so we continue. SentryOne have a hybrid cloud platform that allows you to access your performance data from browser from everywhere. And you can control which information gets synced to the cloud and which is not. You also have an option to alias the names of computers, servers, and databases before they're synced, and they have interfaces for mobile and phones and tablets. This is very cool offering. Another group of tools that I'm going to talk about, that's an end user experience tools, or sometimes they call it synthetic transaction tools. They provide you with the ability to simulate user transactions and test their performance. By using synthetic transactions, we are able to monitor multi-step web-based transactions, measure performance and availability before they impact end user, and predict performance from any location of the world. When I worked in Mercury 10 years ago, I think I have built the first set of tools to script web transactions and simulate them. It's called the Load Runner. And when you're trying to test some website, the first site that comes in mind is google.com. And we have got a lot of calls from Google that have asked our QA to stop stressing their servers, because they can put 50 transactions at once, or 500 transactions doing the same search, and it's just been, the infrastructure wasn't built for it. Exaprice is one of the SaaS offering that can do synthetic transactions for you. They can help you to find problems before they impact real users, and can do real stress test over your databases.
And they do this live, I'm guessing. They're actually injecting live. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Anomaly detection is another set of tools that I'm going to talk about. And why do we need anomaly detection software? Because those tools use complicated machine learning algorithms. They learn your data normal behavior. You see here, this is Anodot. We're using Anodot for this purpose. You just stream your data. For instance, the job that I showed you earlier, the job that takes data from SQL Server to Elasticsearch, I could stream it, instead of Datadog, I could stream it here. And then I would avoid alerts, on Sundays when there is not a lot of data. And then during the rest of the days, there are a lot of data on being streamed. And, you just can't put a regular threshold on such thing. And for instance, those tools, they learn your data normal behavior. They identify abnormal behaviors. Here, these gray areas, that's what they learned about your data, your metrics. They score each incident, correlate. You see here different metrics, and they can alert you. It has many applications in business, like identifying strange network patterns in traffic, or that could signal a hack, or drops in clickstream that can identify problems with site accessibility or bugs, or after application deployment. I will show you the Anodot. Okay, I have here some metric that I'm streaming into. This is a test environment that I'm streaming into Datadog, and it looks, really normal. It's clicks. And I go to anomalies. And what I can see here, that Anodot have identified here a few anomalies. And it shows me here in AnoMap which KPIs were impacted. And I can see that 3 countries were impacted by the same anomaly, and a different ad size. This is example from EdTech world, only for double-click exchange, ad type display, but all of them were noticed on some specific version of the application. And what you can do, and I said, microservices talk to each other, and you can stream into the Anodot not only your metrics, but you can stream also, for instance, if you have Jenkins that you use to for every time that application code gets changed, you can stream here events that have new versions, and then it can correlate some anomalies with the version. That's Anodot. This is an awesome tool. All right. Another group is log analysis tools. And these days, data is recorded and logged just about for everything. It can be web server uptime, database queries, database events audit, or user clickstream, .NET errors, everything. I have those huge application logs somewhere over there. You can log just about everything, and it's very important to have a log management service in your monitoring tool belt. Those tools have a very efficient log analysis capabilities, and for instance, I forgot to switch to the slide. Yeah, that's what they do. They collect the log data, and they're cleaning the data and convert it. And you can, I will show you the screenshot. You can do analysis, visual analysis of your logs. For instance, this is a log.zio, which is cloud offering. It's a SaaS tool, which is Elasticsearch and Kibana, ELK. One of the, we're using ELK in-house solution, but I think we're going to check this one and move over there instead of managing the Elastic cluster just for ELK. But you can see here like some web server access log from which countries the people came in, and which browser and which web, and you also can have here which, if you log which store procedure was accessed, or query performance, you can see everything here. Everything that you have on a log, you can find here, and usually you have free text search over the log data, which is much more useful than just going through the huge text files. And Datadog have acquired Logmatic.io, and now on the dashboard, in addition to CPU and system load and memory, you can also put, queries logs if you keep some stored procedures even doing, sometimes you're logging into the table, sometimes you can log into files. So that's the Datadog, and Logarithm is another log analysis tool which has awesome dashboards. And Splunk is very well-known monitoring tool. They have now cloud offering, and the customer said that the real-time dashboards and visualizations are awesome. And it, can monitor everything that you log. Okay, but the main highlight of all those tool monitoring discovery was incident management tools discovery. This was awesome. I think as soon as we have streamed all our alerts into such tool, have changed completely our perceptions of incident management. And that's what those tools are for, to translate alerts into action, especially if you're leveraging multiple tools, each tool for maybe different database. And aggregating the alerts into incident management tool can pay huge benefits. Like, we used to send emails from SQL Server alerts, and I don't know, do you have filter on email that takes all SQL Server alerts and puts it into some separate subfolder? Because
everybody does this.
Yes, it makes sense. I didn't want to miss business emails, and it makes email looks nice. It's a way of sorting the email, but that's an easy way to miss an alert. And now what we do, we're sending all those emails into the incident management tool. And what they can do, also, they can prioritize the incidents. They can assign the incidents to specific person and trigger escalations, and they allow collaboration. I will show you in a second a demo. They can manage on-duty schedule. Wow, that was hell. We had on-duty managing outbox. I had the calendar for each person who is on duty, and it's always get mixed, and it's just very not comfortable, and the tool solved this problem. It can combine multiple alerts. If you get 100 SMSs from different systems, it can tell you have one problem, not 100. It can use different notification methods. For instance, it can call you at night. And alert analysis, wow, I will show you. This is amazing. You can, as a manager, it's really important for me just to take a look of the period and understand if we got more alerts like last month or less, and if my team is, what is my team's SLA. And usually the incident management regular flow is like when the incident is open, when some system sends an alert, only on duty gets the alert. Not, we used some mail to SMS service before, and all the team was waking up at night by this SMS. All kids from all families, for all people in the team woke up at night. They were on duty, was supposed to take care of it, but still everyone got SMS. So this tool taking care of it. And if no one acknowledges the events, if on duty not acknowledges the event, incident gets escalated after some period of time. Tool can notify the customers if something is wrong with the infrastructure, and when problem is fixed, you can document root cause and put corrective actions that you did. Incident is closed, and the tool just notifies everyone, customers or the team, that everything is good. And this is PagerDuty. We're using this tool in Perion, and let me show you, instead of this, I will show you the real tool. Okay, that's PagerDuty. And this is all events that were triggered. And if we go for some specific event, which pick one? something. Okay, I can see which tool have triggered it, and I can see this is a nice. I can see timeline when the event was triggered and who was notified, and if anyone acknowledged the alert or not, when the event was closed. Sometimes in the morning, I just go through closed alerts and I just to understand how long, which alerts. Just sometimes monitoring tool opens an alert and it closes it, so we don't even get notification. But from here, you can see at least how long was the outage, if there was outage, or maybe I need to tune the threshold if the alert was open, for a few minutes. And I can search here for similar incidents, maybe to talk with the people who already who dealt with the same problems, or maybe there is some, maybe some something in the alert collaboration part, in the notes, right? Something that can help me to solve the problem. This is what they have. They have schedules. As I said, on duty is just totally, have changed our world, because, you put all the people here, and and the system knows to whom send that, SMS, or who gets phone call at the middle of the night. And you define escalation policies, meaning, after incident is triggered, you notify this person because he's on call, and after 30 minutes, someone else notified, or you can send email, to the whole. I just send email to whole team, hoping that anyone will, after on duty doesn't take care like for an hour, we just get everyone alert, because I don't care about sending the mail to the manager. I just want someone to take care of alert. But it's still at the beginning, it gives, the chance for other team members to sleep.
How long did it take you to set up all between the services and the teams and the rules? Like, how long does it take to set up this kind of thing?
It doesn't take long, you do it gradually. But this is very easy system, it just takes you 2 days to learn. This is a very easy system. And it's not so long. Each tool, you get used to learning it.
Cool.
Analytics thing is very interesting. This is, especially for team manager, but even for, just for team member, just you can see how you're doing. I wanted to see this incidents. Something nice here. Oh, this is a nice view. And I will do like 3 months. I don't have data for 3 months. Let me see 1 month. This is a testing environment. Well, it takes it a lot of time, so I won't spend time on it. It will show you this way, this screenshot. Yeah, if we're talking about SaaS tools, pros and cons, sometimes there are not only pros and cons as well. Yeah, internet performance, something. But you can see, every day the amount of alerts that you've got. You can compare if you have the same amount or something weird is getting on, for last days. And you can see, if you need to measure your team SLA, you can see mean time to acknowledge, how long it takes for people to acknowledge the event, to get alert, and how much it takes them to solve an alert. And, comparison to the last period of time. This is very nice. And another tool that is great is Ops Genie. Ops Genie is another player in this category. They have awesome dashboard, and it's a similar solution, and they have playground. If you want, you can just go to the site, enter the playground. It's just open here, and just see some environment and play with it to understand if it's suitable for your company or not. You see alerts, and which tool have sent alert into Ops Genie, and you can see who is on call from the different teams. And what else? You can see teams here. It is very similar, but all of them, all of them, you'll just, I think when we started to stream data into the incident management tool, everything started to be manageable and understandable. And I was sure that I'm not going to miss any alert. All right. Now I also have this category of notification and collaboration. I'm not sure I think it is part of monitoring strategy. Many companies these days use Slack for collaboration between teams. It's very nice messaging service, and many tools from those categories have collaboration features already embedded. But I believe there is a place for another category, because Slack's main idea is to send alert notifications to the channel, which can contain many members. It can create channels for different servers, for applications or projects, and you can have conversations over there among received alerts. What we usually do, we also streaming our alert to other other application owner channels to notify them instead of sending email, and they can see who is taking care of alert, and they can collaborate about the alert, and also PagerDuty of Genie can notify them when alert is gets resolved. After having all those tools, the most important thing is to have integration between them, of course. Like if you're having the different database solutions, at some point you will have the same data replicated from, on different solutions. Same here, but I think it's still good, and each one of them, again, like my example job, which moves data from technology to technology, I can send it to Datadog, and I can send it to Anodot, and just get different points of view on my on this job performance. So, all right, we're getting to the last part. Okay, we have time. But in order to make your monitoring strategy work, I've brought here a few insights. What I think is very important is my to-do list, which can make your monitoring strategy work. First of all alerts should be actionable, meaning this causes the major stress on-call false positives. Nothing is worse than having your phone waking you up in the middle of the night several times to tell you something that either doesn't matter or can be fixed till morning anyway. And before creating alert, you should ask yourself, does it matter? Can you do anything about this? Or is it informational only? Is it something you just want to know? Just send the report and you do not call this alert. Some informational things don't go into the same systems. And you need to prioritize alerts. Can this wait till later? Then this alert priority is low. Don't use the same notification rules. For low alert, you're not getting call at the middle of the night. High priority alerts might be taken care as fast as possible. Low priority alerts usually can wait till you get time to fix the issue. And alert tuning, this is a constant work on tuning thresholds. This work never ends. We always review our thresholds and then alerts that we have received for some period of time to make sure that the thresholds are correct. And I always find something that is missing or requires changes. This is very important to decrease noise and give important alerts high visibility. Incident analytics, we already talked. I think this is a very important part to understand if you having, exactly a correct amount of alerts, or you have a lot of things that are not really important. And you should document everything, because types of alerts and thresholds, and when you set them and why you set them to that value. We have found one alert a few weeks ago on the CPU, which was supposed to alert after 4 times in a row. CPU was above 99% after four hours. So we removed these 4 hours to 1 hour, And then we've started to get tons of alerts because it appears that the application data warehouse team had some processes that were utilizing the Redshift, during huge amounts of times, and was almost 100%. And they didn't want it because it always happened. They didn't want to get that alert. And this kind of things, of course, it should be taken care of. That job should have been taken care of. But on the other side, if someone puts something weird on a threshold, it should be documented somewhere. Another thing is, who is monitoring the monitoring system? Do you know that anyone maybe someone disabled that important alert, or some server is muted or put on maintenance mode? Some systems like Datadog, sometimes you can configure that if someone changes or modifies the alert, you're getting alert on that. But we had the database, another system. We had a list in the database, a list of alerts and the systems, and there was once in a while some process that went and made sure every alert is in there and not muted and is running. And if not, guess what? Another alert. Manually or automated, you just need to keep that in mind. And another thing, if you're finding yourself, doing the same things over and over, maybe you should automate your response. And the incident management tools, they can run your responses even from your telephone. If you, again, wake up at night and you know what you need to do, record it, and then you can and they can just run the automated response. And monitoring tools are only as good as you make them. And I will emphasize this again. If you and your teams are responsible for company database infrastructure, you need to make sure that everything is under control. And again, any multifunction should be taken care as fast as possible and as efficient as possible. Remember, application response times, very important, because their company is going to lose clients. And sometimes this means just widening your areas of responsibility, reaching out to the application owner and say, hi, you need anomaly detection tool for application data flow. Or, by the way, synthetic transactions are missing from your QA plan, quality assurance plan. Sometimes you need to take ownership on that as well. And thank you for listening.
Nice. Now, if people want to go learn more about the different categories of tools, how to learn more about monitoring, where would you suggest that they go?
I've put, this presentation has a lot of names, and I probably will write a blog post, summarizing all this. But you just go to Google and write this type of tool, that type of tool, and you can learn.
Are there any blogs or anything that you subscribe to, any newsletters that talk more focused about monitoring?
Not something specific.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you very much. Nice talk. I was like, the whole time I'm watching, I'm waiting for Richie to go, we need this tool. We need that tool.
Yeah,
cool.
This is
cool.
good. Thank you.
I hadn't thought about the angle of how to monitor everything. There really are so many categories of tools out there. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us today, Maria.